Hi, I'm Mrs. Heckenbach, and welcome to Lesson 1-4, Decimal Place Value. Our learning goal today is to write decimals in standard form, word form, and expanded form. Our vocabulary term is equivalent decimal. This is a decimal. These are decimals that name the same amount. So for example, 7/10 is equal to 70 hundredths. Equivalent decimals. Equivalent decimals name the same amount. We're going to look at a couple of examples of this. So let's name two other decimals that are equivalent to 1 4/10. 1 4/10 is the same as 1 40 hundredths. The reason we know this is because of what we understand about place value. They each have a 1 in the ones column, and they each have a 4 in the tens column. 1 40 hundredths also has a 0 in the hundredths column, but that does not make its value any larger than 1 4/10. That's why they're equivalent. We also know that 1 4/10 is equivalent to 1 400 thousandths. So this also shows us a nice diagram of what that would look like visually. Decimal place value. The place value of a digit in a decimal number determines its value. If we look at the number 567 thousandths, we see that the 5 is in the tenths column, the 6 is in the hundredths column, and the 7 is in the thousandths column. Each digit has a value based on its place in the number. For example, the 5 in the tenths place, there's a 5 in the tenths place, so its value is 5/10. Reading decimal numbers and writing them in word form. Our example again is 567 thousandths. When we read a decimal number, we begin by reading the decimal number just like we would read a whole number, 567. Then we name the place value of the digit that the number ends with. In this case, that ends with a 7 that is in the thousandths place. So I would read this number as 567 thousandths. Let's do some decimal practice. Make sure that you're writing these in your journal and that you're numbering them. We're going to write the word form for each number and the value of the underlying digit. So for each problem, you're going to have two answers to write in your math journal. Here's our first number, 3 742 thousandths. I want you to write the word form of that number and the value of the underlying digit. Please press pause, write the answers in your journal, and when you're ready to check your work, press play. 3 742 thousandths is what that should look like written in word form. You'll notice that we put a hyphen between 42. That's what we do when we have numbers like that, and we'll practice that tomorrow in class. Now, whenever we tell the value of the underlying digit, I wrote it here in word form and also in number form. So the value of the 7 in our number is 7/10. Let's take a look at number 2. I'm not going to read this number for you because that gives you kind of a hint of what the word form should be. So read this number out loud to yourself. Write the word form and the value of the underlying digit in your notebook. The word form is 14 thousandths, and the value of the 1 is 100th, or if you want to write it in number form, it's listed also. Let's look at problem number 3. Now our directions have changed. Write each number in standard form. So remember, think back, what does it mean to write a number in standard form? Here is question number 3. Please write the answer in your math journal. When you're finished, push play to check your work. In standard form, this is written as 8 and 519 thousandths. Question number 4. Again, write this number in standard form. And there's your answer. Check yours to see if you got the same answer. Make sure your answer matches mine. Check where your decimal point is and check to make sure that the 0 is in the correct spot. Now we have a new direction. Write 2 decimal numbers that are equivalent to the given number. So we're writing equivalent fractions, or excuse me, decimals. We'll do fractions later in the year. Here is number 5. Write 2 decimal numbers that are equivalent to the given number. So you're going to have 2 answers for number 5. Go ahead and do that in your math journal. Press pause while you work that out, and then press play when you're ready to move on and check your answer. Here are 2 examples. There are many more examples that you can continue to make by adding zeros to the right side of that number. Again, write 2 decimal numbers that are equivalent to the given number. And here are 2 examples. There are other examples too. If you have something different, you might want to put that in a question at the end of our lesson so we can talk about it and check to see if yours is an equivalent number, even if it doesn't look exactly like mine. Now we are ready for your challenge problem. You need to label this as challenge in your math journal. And let's read the problem together. Jack was asked to write a number with a 4 in the thousands place, a 5 in the ones place, a 9 in the tenths place, and a 6 in the thousandths place. Jack wrote this number. Is he correct? If not, explain and write a number that would satisfy the requirements. This is a multi-step question, so make sure you read it carefully and answer all parts in your math journal. Congratulations, you have finished lesson 1-4. Check the learning goals to make sure that you have mastered them and write any questions that you may have in your journal. When you come to class tomorrow, you can check your challenge problem to see if you met the challenge and got it correct. Thank you for working so hard, and we'll see you at school.